What's up, everybody? Atheris back again with yet another Lambo from my collection. And in front of us today we have the Reventon, which was released by Lamborghini in 2008, basically as their first super exclusive $1 million supercar. There was only 20 units of this car made worldwide when it was released, and I think they sold out in like a day or two or something like that. It was crazy, but they made two versions of this car. There's the coupe version that we see in front of us, and then there's the roadster version, also limited to 20 units worldwide. But it came in a silvery type finish, or more of a silver flat matte finish, whereas this came in like a gunmetal flat finish. And both very extreme, very, very cool cars. They were designed and based off of basically fighter jets, is where Lambo took their inspiration for these things. That's where you get all the very sharp lines and very angular, and that's where you even get the paint finish, the very flat finish, just like fighter jets have. So that was the inspiration for this, and that's why it's so extreme when it first came out. I mean, this thing looks like it's going to kill you. I mean, if you saw this coming down the street at you, you'd be like, holy shit. You know, that's it looks intimidating. But very cool car. I was actually lucky enough. Last year I visited the Lamborghini factory and museum, got a tour. And actually they had one of these, the Reventon, on display in their museum. So I got to get up and close and personal with it. Amazing, amazing car. Really, really unique experience. Because like I said, I mean, there's only 20 of these in the world. And how often are you going to bump into these outside of, visiting the factory or the museum, I suppose. But amazing car. And this model here, this replica, was made by Amalgam. If you saw my last video I did on the Aventador that I have of theirs, built more or less exactly the exact same way. It comes on a real carbon fiber base. The trim here, the outside is wood. The cars are scanned digitally into a computer, so they put, like I mentioned in the last video, a car wash type machine or apparatus over the car, and they scan it. And that goes into a computer, and then they basically mold the parts from those 3D scans, so it's 100% accurate to the real car. Then you got quality. So I mean, that's one thing Amalgam is just crazy at and very well known for, is their quality of these cars. They use materials and craftsmanship and accuracy that you're not going to find in any other models or fine model cars out there on the market, especially at this scale. And they don't just make 1/8 scale. They go from 1/12. I think their new line is 1/12 scale cars, which is the majority of my collection, are 1/12 scale cars. But then they got 1/8, and it goes all the way up to 1/4 scale for some of their cars, which is a massive scale for a car. But in this particular model, there was no real opening parts on this outside of the engine bay cover or lid there, and I'll show you how that opens in a second. But everything else remains closed. The doors don't open. The front trunk lid doesn't open here. So it's just a static car for the most part, and the only thing that opens is the engine cover to show the detail that they put into the engine bay, which when I show you here is pretty insane in itself. But just to give you a close-ups on some of the details and the parts of the car, like the wheels here. When this car came out, it was pretty unique that it had carbon fiber inlays in the wheel itself. As you can see here, these like arrow directional type things here, which were, I guess, meant for design purposes as well, to look cool and sleek and all that kind of stuff. But they were also meant designed purposely to pull air into the rotors, into the brakes, to cool them down. So I mean, they're kind of designed like airplane wings, the same thing, like a spoiler would be on the back of the car, so that pulls in air to cool down the brakes. And it looks cool as hell at the same time. So there you go with Lambo. Most supercars, form follows function. You can see here you got the rad over here. And again, going with the form follows function thing, that's only on one side of the car. So there's the left and here's the right. not the same thing. But then it goes back to their philosophy, like I said, form follows function. So very, very cool car. Amazing paint finish on this, and the quality to everything is just nuts. I mean, if you've ever seen an Amalgam piece or car in person, the detail and the quality, like you could sit here and look at these for hours and just look at every single little piece of detail that they've put into this car. It's nuts. Especially the engine bay, and I'll show you how that works. Actually, here you can get a close-up of the fans to cool the motor here. These are all photo etched parts for these little grills, which must be a pain in the ass to put in. Look at how thin and brittle that must be. But anyway, I'll show you how the engine lid opens here. Back up a little bit. So how this works is the trunk lid, if you've seen on my Aventador video, the doors on that car were spring-loaded. The same thing works with the engine lid on this car. It's spring-loaded, but you don't just open the lid like you would, you know, any other part on a model car by sticking your fingernail under it or anything like that. You actually have, they've designed the exhaust tailpipe here to be, I guess, have a latch system, and then the lid is spring-loaded. So you pull down on the exhaust, and then the engine cover opens. Just do that gently. And let's get a close-up of the detail we're talking about here. So, as you can see, engine bay is pretty packed. You got this to replicate. This is all the whole engine bay is carbon fiber, including the lid up here, so you can kind of make out the weave, the carbon fiber weave in the section here. Can't really tell it all because of the lighting, and lighting's kind of playing tricks here, but this is all a replicated carbon fiber engine bay, right down to the plumbing, the wiring, everything is there replicated 100% like it is on the real car, including the clamps, if you can see here, right there, that hold down the hoses to the air intakes and things. All replicated. Like, it must be a pain in the ass and then some to put all these things together, and just the amount of time it takes is just insane. Even the engine block is made out of aluminum. I mean, it's all forged out of one piece. I mean, you don't see any of this stuff. You can't really get in there to see, you know, get hands-on with it and see what stuff's made with. But that's the kind of quality and attention to detail that they put into these. You don't see it, but they do it anyway, you know? As I said, these take about, from what I understand, roughly 3,000 man-hours to put these together, which is a crazy amount of time to spend on a model, on something like this, with over 1,500 parts. But you're getting quality, you're getting something you're not going to find really anywhere else. Amalgam is the best there is out there right now making these types of cars. And you know, they hold licenses for Ferrari and McLaren, Bugatti, stuff like that, Fiat, Skylines they're making too. So they do it all, and they do it in a range of scales too. I think their newest scale that they just added to the lineup is a 1/12 scale, which is a little smaller than this, about half this size, and that's the majority of my collection are 1/12 scale cars. But they do all the way up to 1/4 scale, which is massive, massive. But you know, their main scale, or their general scale, is 1/8, which you see here. Now, like I said, the doors don't open, so I can't get in there to show you all the detail in the cockpit and everything. But in person, I mean, if you can get your face up close and personal to the glass there, it's just insane detail on the switches and the instrument cluster and the dash and the pedals, everything. It's just beautifully replicated. Paint is superb. Xenon headlights, done amazingly. So this was a special edition car, right? So there's really nothing I can customize on this, or nothing that I'd want to customize on this, like I did my Aventador when I ordered that. The only thing I really requested of this car when I ordered it was that, if you can see here in the edition size badging or plate here, I asked for edition number 20 because there was 20 of the actual car made. So I thought that'd give it a little special touch. And that's really the only thing that I got custom on this, or requested specifically. There's really nothing else to change. It's a special edition car. Why would you want it? So it's one of the my favorite pieces in my collection is this car, just because it's just outrageous. It's crazy. It was Amalgam's first Lamborghini, I believe, put out in this scale. And now they have the rest of the range coming. Or they've already done, I should say. They did the Murcielago, they did the Gallardo, they did the Aventador, they got the Aventador J coming next. And I think they got the new Hurricane, however you pronounce that, coming soon, which replaced the Gallardo. Hopefully all those I can add to the collection soon. But the one I'm most anticipating is the Veneno. I really, really hope Amalgam makes the Veneno in 1/8 scale, because that would just be insane. I'd love to get that car in my collection. So, there you have it, folks. The Reventon by Amalgam. I'm just going to close the lid here. Beautiful car. Beautiful model. Same quality. Craftsmanship. As I said in my last video, I got this particular model from Collector Studio in Toronto near Yorkville, where I get all my models from. And if you haven't seen one of these cars, or Amalgam's cars, in person, there's a great place to do it at Collector Studio. He's got a huge showroom of Amalgam models there. And you can go check out what kind of quality I'm talking about here in person, because I mean, these cars just don't, you don't give them justice by making videos on them. You have to actually see them in person to appreciate them. So that's it, guys. I'll put the link to the website if you're looking for more information on this car or Amalgam's other cars, as well as Collector Studios if you want to hit up Maury and inquire about getting one of these, or anything else for that matter. He's got a whole bunch of stuff there. And that's it. So till the next video, rate, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I will talk to you guys next time. Take care.